Bom dia, Munson here from expatsportugal.com. Good news is I think I've sorted the sound, but you know what? You can never know with some of these things. So I rely on you this morning as all of my executive producers to please keep not an eye, but an ear on things. And please let me know how it is this morning. Saturday, thank you everybody who tuned in for 2 hours of celebrating community creativity from this very community and in Portugal, across Portugal, street art on the largest level, the amazing talent as well as some of the people in our community, including the Blisses, Terence Austin, Dougie, another video from Dougie today, Thunder Duck. You know who you are, and if you didn't see it, please watch that again because the sound quality was perfect. Thanks to Thunder. We connected on Saturday afternoon to make sure everything was okay. How are you all doing? We'll get into the news and weather in just a moment. Great to have your company this morning. How was your weekend? I need to talk to Gilda, who will be here this morning with the visa update, about a second weekend idea. Now, Portugal and England at the time created the Treaty of Windsor, which became the basis of a great friendship for many centuries. And I'm thinking we should start a new one where we start the Segunda weekend. We have a second weekend because this is one of those weekends where I feel tired after the weekend I've had, and I need another weekend. So the second weekend. So Segunda-feira really does mean second holiday. So I'm going to hope with Gilda's help, and maybe with yours too, we could get a petition together and we could work with our governments to bring about the second weekend that helps you recover from the weekend you just had, the Saturday and the Sunday. And we go into Segunda-feira for another couple of days off just to really relax and recuperate. And then we can work if you want to. You don't have to. You can work on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. How does that sound? I will commend that to the House and see if there's any support for that this morning. Let's take a quick look at the weather and then come back straight back to you and your comments. So Lisbon this morning, let me get this on the screen for you. What do you think? Should we have more Fahrenheit action when it comes to the news or the weather? Fahrenheit action in the news, plenty of the temperature's high in the news as ever, and it seems increasingly so. But as far as the weather goes, would you like more Fahrenheit, or are you happy to just go ahead and double it and add 30 yourself? Because I believe that is how it works. In the capital then this morning, we have 11 degrees and few clouds. I wonder if that's like a few clouds or there are a few clouds. 19 degrees the high today, and pretty much that's the outlook for the rest of the week. A little bit cloudy and temperatures around the 18, 19 and 20 degrees centigrade. And just for you Fahrenheit lovers, let's do that for Lisbon as well, because we haven't got it for the rest of the cities and districts of Portugal. And you know what? I think I'm going to work my way through the districts so that it's not just capital-centric or even Porto-centric or even Coimbra-centric. We'll go to those other places that you rarely hear about. And a couple of videos from Vitor Costa, our man in the north, to kind of make that point, really. He has been at the Senhora do Minho over the weekend, the Lady of Minho, with some lovely views from up the top of the hill there. So, yeah, we'll head off around the country for the rest of the week weather-wise, but we'll stick to Lisbon, Porto and Coimbra as we begin. Porto this morning, 8 degrees with a clear sky, and 17 to look forward to there. And that's pretty much how it looks for the rest of the week as well. 17, 18, down to 15 at the weekend, but a much sunnier week, actually, to look forward to in Porto than in Lisbon this coming week. And 12 degrees, nice and warm, really, relatively speaking, in Coimbra as a start to the day with a nice clear sky, 20 degrees and 19, 18 thereabouts for the rest of the week. Yes, we're looking at the weather for the week ahead. Should we squeeze in Faro as well? I think we should. So, yeah, a high of 20 in Coimbra today anyway, rising from a low of 8. That's what's so amazing about temperatures in Portugal generally, but certainly in central Portugal. And a lovely end of the week to look forward to. Sunny weekend in both Coimbra and Porto, as you can see. Then let's have a look at Faro. Faro mixed, unchangeable, cloudy, 8 degrees currently, 19 the high today. Another big climb, and you'll be feeling that around lunchtime. And you may well be able to sit outside and have lunch in Faro. Dougie, how's it going there, mate? And really enjoying your videos, your 2-minute tasters of life in Portugal. Another one of those for everybody this morning. But 18, 19, 17 years as we go throughout the week. And look at that in Faro on Saturday, a little bit of rain forecast. Which is, yes, the south taking the rain for the rest of the country. My own weather report this morning. Let me see if I can find a lovely photo I took for you. It's 11 degrees outside. The weather probe is hanging out. My probe is hanging out the window. 16 in the studio, 11 outside. And I took a little photo this morning that I'd like to share with you now to give you a sense of well, it was misty. It was misty, and the mist does attenuate the weather somewhat, doesn't it? Sometimes it wasn't freezing fog by any means. It was a lovely one of those insulating mists this morning. And actually, while I'm about it, I might show you the picture of my new favourite lamppost in Portugal, which I discovered in Alcabaça at the weekend. I thought it was public art. I think it's strictly utility, and it is a lamppost. I'll bring you that in a moment. But look, this morning we have the muted sunshine across the railway track. It's quite a romantic picture, isn't it, really? It's not your Waterloo sunset, but it's your San Martino sunrise there, the muted sunshine coming through the mist with a few pines, pañeros in the foreground there, and that lovely level that you can see there is from the single track railway line that links San Martino de Porto to the rest of the world via the railways. Get to Caldas de Rainha very quickly along that railway line, and no doubt many other places too. I've only done that particular journey, and I'm looking forward to doing more. While I'm about it, just around the corner, this was when did I think I took this on Saturday morning. This is that new beach I've discovered, Gralha Beach, around my way. Isn't that lovely? More mist there, sea mist. It's the time of year for it. That sea mist rolling off the hills and down towards the beach there, just around that corner. All those surfers getting ready in Nazaré. Oh, and yeah, that lamppost. Look at this. This was very close to some street art, celebrating street art, of course, in Portugal, which is everywhere, and it's a beautiful investment, and I think it lifts the spirits. I don't know how Portuguese people feel about the proliferation and volume of public art. I love it here in Portugal, and this lamppost was very close to some public art. And I looked at it and I thought, hold on a minute, that's a strange old lamppost. It's got a kink in it, and it had been held together with gaffer tape, and very resourceful, very resilient. That there in one picture, perhaps a reflection of the Portuguese psyche. You know, we're not going to waste money. We're going to repair this lamppost. And I thought to myself, is that an artwork though? Is it part of the public art offering here, whereby the upright lamppost is slightly quirky, makes you think twice. Isn't that what art is meant to do? So if you have a favorite lamppost, do send in your picture of it now, please. 351, the country code on WhatsApp, 913-590-303. Sounds like I've been doing a lot of shouting at the weekend, doesn't it? A beautiful weekend, actually. Lovely to pop up to near to Aveiro. What would they be called? Not the dunes, but I think some of the reclaimed water around Aveiro, the Gafanhas they're called, with our lovely friends Mike and Dee up there. And I took the slow road, didn't get on the toll road. So you can get up to Aveiro from the Silver Coast in about 90 minutes. Well, Aveiro is said to be part of the Silver Coast, actually, depending on which definition you go with, of course. But a lovely journey up there to Aveiro, and we went on the 242 road. You know, I love these old roads. The A242's got a lot of value in it, as is the N109. Those are the two principal roads. And I mean, the doc will know about this. The doc who joins us on a Wednesday from time to time. It's pretty much a coast road. You don't get to see a lot of the sea because of the high dunes, but you know it's there. And there's a national park. I didn't know there's a beautiful. It turned out of Marinha Grande. And there's a lovely pine forest, and it says something along the lines of Leiría's National Park there, and the lovely steep dunes, and the sea is on the other side. So I'll be returning there to action along the 242 and the 109. Enough about my weekend. How's yours? Let's see how you're doing. Thunder Duck is here. Thank you so much for your help, Thunder, over the weekend in getting the sound right. Let me scroll down to make sure it still is, and we haven't got any of those jitters that we're doing everybody's heads in. Gaffer tape fixes everything. It's part of any survival kit, of course, along with the cable ties and the WD-40. Bon dia, I thought only dogs had a favorite lamppost. No, I'm not. Until now, you could have been forgiven for thinking that, Stephen. Good morning to you, my friend. How are you today? But I have a favorite lamppost too. And if you think about it, you probably do too. You just didn't realize it. Okay, so yeah, cheers to you, Thunder. And looking forward to working more with you. Deagle's here from Belfast, of course. Bon dia, Carl, from a very dark Belfast. Dark mornings, dark evenings, roll on the 21st of December. Indeed. Daylight changes slightly, and by mid-January, you can see the days stretching. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't that a wonderful thing to look forward to, and then to feel our ascent out of the darkness, both metaphorically and actually? 15 minutes both on Saturday and Sunday. What is he talking about? If you're new to the show, what is he talking about? You wonder. It's 15 minutes of learning Portuguese. Deagle applying himself manfully there Good job, sir. Well done. Shall we get you a quick muito bem? And Friday's show, of course, we were beset by a number of. Well, I was. Filomena was absolutely fine, wasn't she, at her end? And so there you go. Digo, a muito bem for you. And that show that we recorded with Filomena, with her excellent mix of vocabulary, grammar and fun, really. I mean, you have a laugh, language and laughter with Filomena on Filomena Friday. I'll take that segment out, so there's not too much of me going, bah, 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 bah. And there's much more of Filomena teaching us in her wonderful way about the Portuguese language. And it was very rich, wasn't it, in content and knowledge a few breakthroughs for people, I think, last Friday with that. So I'll make a segment of that available on the YouTube channel so you can enjoy that in its abstraction rather than a load of technical challenges. Boa segunda-feira e alegria a todos from Matty. How are you, mate? Esta semana e a minha última semana. It is so this week, I beg your pardon, and last weekend, was it? You were working on the emergency services? I don't quite get that. I'm seeing the words, but I'm not seeing how they all link together. So give us a translation of that, if you will. Jim White here as well. 30 minutes. Well done, sir. Excellent. Good morning to you, Jim. And I always just tip my hat to you with your early attendance, as it is for you in Baltimore in the United States. Thank you so much, Jim. And to you both, to the White household, for tuning in at the various times and enjoying what we do here. Bon dia, Gumpers. Time for some of this, isn't it? Gumpers do it every morning. Can we see that over the comment? Just about enough. Gumpers do it every morning. Feliz segunda a todos. In addition to Filomena's wonderful lesson on Friday. See, that's what I'm talking about. I've managed an additional hour of study for the 3 days. Plus, claro, 10 minutos already today. Até agora hoje. 1:45 nearly. We've got to get on with this news, haven't we? I'm slipping into just chatting. With no problem with that, but I have promised, and we are trying news and weather from 8:30 to 9 o'clock, which I think some people are generally approving, but it's hard to get out the old habits, isn't it, of just hanging out and having a chat. We'll come back to your lovely comments, probably more so when Gilda joins us. A couple of stories, articles to share with you. Stop calling them stories, Carl. It trivializes things. Which one should we go to first? Oh, yes, your help is needed, okay? Difficulties for wine and chestnut producers. Got a bit of local news as well this morning. So have a look at these chestnuts. Have a look at my nuts this morning that I've put on the screen for you. Oh, and a sweet little dog. First dog park for Portugal. Maybe we need to look at that story as well. Maybe Andy Gilchrist will get down there with Alpha, his great Dane. And that'll be interesting, won't it, to see that little dog and the big Great Dane there. So feast your eyes on those nuts. Probably not the first time I've had to say that in my life, but enough of that nonsense and ribaldry this morning. Let's see what's going on, shall we? In terms of production, the article goes on to say, and quality, the reason can be considered reasonable for wine, but in chestnuts there are production losses. This refers to difficulties for wine and chestnut producers here in Portugal. Do your bit, folks, if you are here in Portugal already, or put in a forward order if you're not. Difficulties for the chestnut, castanera producers and wine producers. We can't have that, can we? We must step in and help. The National Confederation of Agriculture, the CNA, has stated that wine and chestnut producers are having difficulties in selling their products at reasonable prices, demanding support for the industries. Well, we are happy to give that support, aren't we? And of course, the Magusto Festival that we talked about with Filomena means that you should be devouring. This is what Clive sent us in that lovely reminder from the Câmara, I think, or the Municipio in Lagos, to make sure you have a magnificent Magusto and eat plenty of castaneras. These are obviously the sweet chestnuts, and partake of the early wine. That's what the San Martino Festival is all about, to make sure you try the early wine, prove the wine whilst eating chestnuts. What could, I mean, that's perfect day, isn't it? However, in both cases, the difficulties of distribution at compensating prices persist, aggravated by the increase in the cost of production factors, the CNA noted in a statement. So trouble at Tut Mill for chestnut producers and some wine producers. Let's read on to find out more about the wine producers and how we can help with that as well. The production of chestnuts has reduced significantly, and despite an increase in the price of production, The amount paid to the farmer is not enough to compensate for the reduction. Well, that's sad news indeed, isn't it? And we must do what we can to help. For example, in Valpasos, district of Villarreal, up there in the north, the production of chestnuts will not exceed 1,000 kilos. What? 1,000,000 grams of chestnuts. Isn't that amazing? When last year it stood at 3,000 kilos. In the case of wine production, it's expected to increase by 1%, despite declines in some regions, while prices are expected to remain low. So a bit of a concern there. In a year marked by bad weather, by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, by the spiraling increase in the cost of production factors, and by the increase in transport costs not assumed by commerce and industry, it is certain that the income of producers will remain low. They added, this is the CNA bringing our attention to this. The CNA calls for measures that guarantee the flow of agricultural products at better prices for production and that curb the increase in the cost of production factors. So it's not exactly clear, is it, what the problem is there? I don't think, and what we can do about it. But suffice to say, I would say that going to the farmer might help, mightn't it? Going to the local markets might help. And when you buy these things from the supermarket, you can pretty much guarantee that some behind the scenes, a low price is being secured on your behalf, because that's why people go to supermarkets. And who feels the pinch of that? It's going to be the producers we just mentioned, right? So if you possibly can, go direct to the producers and go to the markets. I bought some chestnuts myself at the market and roasted them in our oven. Mrs. M, of course, saying to me, as quite rightly so, have you pricked the chestnuts? What? Oh, have I pricked the chestnuts? Yes, I have. We don't want that sort of explosion occurring in the kitchen. You've got to do that, folks. If you're new at it, you've got to make a little hole. And I use my electrician screwdriver as the perfect tool for such a job. And they were roasted to perfection. I've not had such moist and sweet chestnuts. I mean, as I recall them, my father feeding them to me, as he used to like them, buying them from the vendor in a foggy London evening. Keeping warm around the brazier. You buy a few of those in a paper bag. And they keep nice and warm in your pocket. And they were dry as the Sahara, as Pete Bleach would say. And not really much to commend them to a small child. So I didn't have a very good idea of how beautiful chestnuts could be until I roasted them again on Saturday. Thoroughly recommend it. If you, like me, have a poor recollection and not that fond of them, give them another go and buy them direct from the producer. What else have we got here? We've got an event in the Algarve, which I'll finish with. We want that local news, everybody. So if you've got some, do share with us. Let's go to, interestingly, there is an article about wind power, not far from me, not connected, I hasten to add. Let's go with what is the slightly concerning story. I'm steering clear of the big time gloom and doom, plenty of that. And, we don't like to focus too much on that. You know what's being said in the newspapers, don't you? At the worst end of things, we're eking out the positive stories and the things that we can do something about, more to the point. And this is interesting, I think, in the Algarve. We are in the Algarve for this mid part of the news and for the end part, with a little bit of local news of an event that's happening down there. But look at this, everybody. The Algarve needs 50,000 to 60,000 people to work, and there is no housing for them. There's a massive irony there, isn't there? I think it's probably a lot of empty property in the Algarve, but it may not be the sort of property that's deemed suitable or affordable for those workers who are needed in the Algarve there. One of the main talking points that has come out of the National Tourism or Hotel and Tourism Congress I didn't give a credit there. The Portugal News brought us the article about the chestnuts and the wine. This is the Portugal Resident, no writer mentioned specifically, but one of the main talking points that has come out of the National Hotel and Tourism Congress that is taking place at Nau Salgados Palace in Albufeira in the Algarve is the Algarve's serious lack of housing, which in turn makes it hard to attract key workers from doctors to teachers. Oh, I see. We've shot ourselves in the foot here, haven't we? We've gone for all the swanky high-end stuff, and the people we really need in society have been priced out the market. So the Algarve needs 50,000 to 60,000 active people to work. Yeah, not the rest of us who aren't doing anything, said Now Hotels and Resorts CEO Mario Azevedo Pereira, and cited by Journal de Noticias. He explained that while the region is extremely attractive to tourists, the same cannot be said for people looking to live and work in the Algarve. Well, really, I mean, that shouldn't be too difficult, should it? It's not like you're attracting people to minus 40 temperatures at this time of year and blistering heat in the summer. It's very, as you all know, as we all know, anyone who watches the Good Morning Portugal show will know the Algarve is a fabulous place to live, and it wouldn't take much, would it, for the government and the local authorities there to start an initiative to attract people into the region? Come on. There are huge difficulties to hire doctors, nurses, teachers, and security forces, largely due to a lack of housing, he said. Well, there's an opportunity for a housing company, right, to meet that mid-range requirement. The issue is compounded by the Algarve's lack of a public transportation network. We really have shot ourselves in the foot with this. I mean, that is not forward thinking. All the attention and the wonga heading to the top of the food chain, as it were, in the capitalistic terms, whilst the people who are really needed for a decent life have been priced out or missed out. This is Doc talk here, isn't it? This is Andy Thompson talk this morning. And labour laws that are rigid, generic, inspired by industry and inadequate for a region affected by seasonality, the hotelier added. Algarve tourism boss João Fernandes also provided some insight describing the lack of funding for regional projects such as the Algarve's long-promised central hospital as one of the issues holding the region back. It's terrible to hear this, isn't it? That the region is being held back at a time when it could be bouncing forward as we come out of the pandemic. Marta Cabral, did you see what I did there? Director of the Ruta Vicentina hiking network believes that the government has to set the tone for private investors to look to the Algarve, and added that the region is facing an identity crisis as it tries to balance the region's rural characteristics with the expectations of hoteliers and tourists. Well, isn't it great that they're talking about such things? Might mention this to Gilda. Actually, but it's great, isn't it, that this is on the agenda? But let's get something done about it. 12th of November, the dateline on that article, filed on Friday, and I think Natasha Don might have had a hand in that. I hear her in that article. So there you go. What do you think about that? Let's have a quick look before we go any further. Muito obrigado for all your help on the GMP show, Gilda. We'll come back to that. Thank you. Any other messages for Gilda, of course, on this Monday visa update day? Do let me know. Fantastic. Good to know. And yes, comments, anything about the Algarve or any of the articles that I've shared with you so far. Oh, fabulous. Lots of wonderful comments coming in. Michael Whitby, hello. I thought I saw you yesterday when I was driving out and about. We buy whenever we can from the roasters, but in Caldas de Rainha, we had terrible nuts this weekend. And isn't that awful? No one likes terrible nuts this weekend or any weekend, probably last year nuts. That's why they're often dry. That's what I thought. That explained it. They're not fresh, are they, by the time they get to the rest of the world? But what a shame that you experienced dry nuts at the weekend then, Michael. Awful business. And I'm sure there's a cream for that. Joao F, thank you. Oh, no, I thought that was something to do with nuts as well. No, I didn't. I don't have a psychological or Freudian connection with you and nuts, Joao. Don't worry. Oh, yeah, Iris Otoba. Good morning to you, Iris. How are you? Bon dia from Foz this morning. I've been looking in vain for street vendors, so I ended up buying my own chestnuts from Aldi. Yes, they were pretty pricey. Well, that's good. Maybe it means that the distributor producer got a decent price for them. Are they best baked in the oven or outside on the barbecue oven? I would say, yeah, over coals is best. But the oven is still a good, slow and slow mid-temperature, I would say, in the oven if you're going to do them indoors. And it just keeps the house warm, and it keeps the kitchen nice and warm, and you get that aroma indoors. But yeah, outside is good as well if you can be bothered to get the coals to red and then to white, and then roast them over the BBQ there. Very good. I hope that helps. And yes, talking of cooking, hashtag the Batterman is here on Wednesday. I saw the Austins, as some of you would have discovered on Saturday night. I had a right old giggle with the amazing Austin brothers. They will be the production team behind Owen joining me. Why have I got Owens and Austins mixed up? Are they both car brands? But Owen is going to be here, the legendary Batterman of Central Portugal, and we're going to be cooking live on the show on Wednesday. Won't that be great? Ask Anything About Portugal will be flavoured. Of course, ask anything about Portuguese cookery on Wednesday, and between us, we'll do our best to answer that. Okay, weather report from Francis. Hey, Francis, well, we've got you on the screen there. What happened with these flags? Can you tell us more? That was you, wasn't it? On the end of last week. Where were you there? Was that the Portuguese consulate? in Cape Town there. I may be probing too deeply with you and should be told to mind my own business, but tell us more if you will. It's upper 20 degrees a week in Cape Town, and I'm a little tender after the footy. Oh, sorry to hear that, mate. And what do? Do you just rest, or is it a matter of liniment or some other folk remedy for tired muscles? Do tell us. Joao F., good morning, everybody. She'll try to keep up with the show while trying to feed a baby cat that appeared starving in our garden 3 days ago. Hope it survives. Pictures, please. Oh, that little soul. How wonderful. All the best with that, Joao. Good morning. What a lovely man you are, rescuing cats whilst listening to the show and probably trying to work as well. Good morning from Suze Casola, like that. Chilly start to the day there in Finland at -3 degrees. It's a bit of a moustache, isn't it? Yeah, the bigode, as I discovered, bigode is Portuguese for moustache. Coming along nicely, I would like to think. Sorry if it has caused any shock or offense this morning. B. Robinson, will come back to your question there for Gilda when she joins me, and just make sure she's okay and she's got the link. She does have the link and she's received it. That's amazing. I'm talking about her and she's just arrived. And we'll come to you, Gilda, in just a moment. Just want to do the last news item this morning before the 9 o'clock. I'm going to bring you after. I'll bring you in after the music, because if I don't play the music at 9, I'll forget to do it, because we'll start chatting, and that'll be the end of the theme that we should be playing quite rightly at 9 o'clock. So last news article to share. Gilda, we've been talking about the fact that some housing is needed for 50 to 60,000 workers down in the Algarve to make it all work down there. And finally, wind power for Portugal. Portugal to see 3 new, very different wind energy projects, and they are north of Nazaré. And you would think, wouldn't you, with that Atlantic coast, Portugal should rule it when it comes to wind power. Look at those things there. Portugal to see these very different wind energy products. Let's find out now how different they are. And this is Natasha Don, of course. Portugal is poised, and published yesterday, fresh news from the Portugal resident here. Portugal is poised to see 3 new, very different wind energy projects installed offshore north of Nazaré, directly linked to feijoada cooking, possibly. Let's see. Minister for the Environment and Climate Action, João Pedro Matos Fernandes explained the details in interview with TSF Radio, Jornal de Noticias. These are projects of a large dimension, much larger than wind float, he said, which is probably, those are wind floats, are they not? It's going to be bigger than that, folks. Referring to the cutting-edge initiative in Portugal, established back in 2019, capable of producing enough electricity to supply around 60,000 homes per year. I'm looking for bigger returns from me wind on that, really, aren't you? I mean, I don't mean to poo-poo it. Isn't that awful, talking about wind and poo-poo? And move on. In all, there are 3 separate requests for licenses, and they will need to be done in collaboration with the Ministry of the Sea, said Mr. Matos Fernandes. The projects will be sited north of the Nazaré Canyon, the underwater anomaly that powers monster waves. Oh, okay, so beyond there, alongside Figueira da Foz, and they will all be free floating using a technology very different to everything we have seen so far, and with great potential for growth. There it is. So more houses will be powered, presumably, ultimately, by those things. We are with our colleagues at the Ministry of the Sea, and wouldn't it be great to say, I work at the Ministry of the Sea, constructing a plan to be developed, knowing that even before this plan is constructed, there already exists 3 requests for licenses. The licenses, by dint of being offshore, will be granted by the Ministry of the Sea, and there will then need to be separate licenses to connect the projects to the electricity grid. These to be granted by the Environment / Climate Action Ministry. Isn't that marvelous? So good news then from Portugal. We try to focus on the good news. Talking of good news in Portugal, Gilda Pereira, everybody, and she'll be right here after the intro. Let's do it now. Let's play that intro that we have become accustomed to hearing at 9 in the morning. Here we go. look at this. Gilda, I've made it to Porto with your team's amazing support and kindness. Seth, appointment on Friday. Obrigado from Lonnie, the lovely Lonnie. How are you this morning? That's a great way to hit the ground running, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What about you?
I'm pretty good. I was saying, and with your help. Now, before we start talking and before we get carried away, Gilda, you have to go at 9:30, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we will prioritize all the visa type questions after we found out how you are, of course, and I tell you about my new idea for the second weekend of the week. But yeah, 9:30. Gilles has to go to a meeting today, but that still means we have a lovely 30 minutes of wonderful input from Gilda. Now, my idea. You know, us English and the Portuguese have treaties going back to, well, the Treaty of Windsor, which I think was the 14th century, 13th or 14th century. I've got a new treaty idea for us that we become famous for starting the second weekend of the week. So there's there's Saturday and Sunday, the normal weekend, and then we reinvent Segunda-feira, the second holiday, right? And we have another weekend on Monday and Tuesday to recover from the weekend we've just had. Do you think that's going to work? Will we be able to persuade the Portuguese and British governments to bring this about?
I don't think so.
Okay, thanks. Okay, let's move on then. Thank you, thank you,
But
Gilda.
it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you very much. All right, I do try. Thank you. I thought it was amazing, but anyway, and sometimes we need it, don't we? Do you get that? You have such a busy weekend, you do need another weekend.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, and thank you. Talking about taking a break, your lovely picture of Madeira. We have a Madeiran. Was it a sunset or a sunrise we've got here, Jill?
Sunrise.
Where's it gone? Where's all my blooming downloads? I'll find that while you're talking and answering questions, I think, this morning. I think something's gone wrong with my pictures. But B says, thank you, Gilda, Beatriz Ribeiro, and your entire team for helping me get my D7 visa. See you in January 2020. How awesome is that as well?
Great.
We do have questions as well as accolades. Martin Hardy, bon dia from Singapore. Plan B is in operation. Glad to hear that, Martin, that you have got a backup plan. Not saying whether it is working well or not until it's done. Will you let us know? Keep us in mind with that. Jim, bon dia, Carl and Gilda from Wiesbaden, Germany, gathering the final documents to send over to Beatrice and Christina so they can start our visa process. Good to know, good to know. And I have definitely seen visa questions in here. It's just a matter of finding them. The other thing we could perhaps talk about is there is going to be a consular strike possibly in Brazil for those coming from Brazil. Did you hear about that? They're threatening strike action over there, Gilda.
Yes, I did hear, but it's not confirmed that it's going to happen yet. I don't know.
Okay. And the CEF can't take responsibility. They can't be blamed for that. This is government officials inside the consulate, I suspect, isn't it? Who aren't CEF.
Yes, and CEF it's under one ministry, and the consulate it's under another ministry. The consulate are under the Foreign Affairs Ministry, and the CEF is under the Ministério da Administração Interna, MAI.
All right.
So it's
yes,
two
they can't.
different ministries.
But come on, government, give them the pay rise they want. We don't want people being held up, basically. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz segunda todos. In addition to Philomena's wonderful lessons of Friday, I managed an additional hour. You had a Gilda comment here. That's what I was trying to find. We'll come to that. Oh, here we go. Muito obrigado. But thank you for that. And I'll pass on your thanks to Philomena. Muito obrigado for all your incredible help on the Good Morning Portugal show, Gilda. I've learned a lot of valuable information from you on the Good Morning Portugal broadcast. I love how much you care and how much you help people.
Oh, so cute. Thank you.
Okay, and I will come back to all your comments, everybody. We'll get more leisurely again at 9:30 when Gilda has to go and do some work in the office this morning. How's your weather there, Gilda, this morning? Can we have a weather report from you?
No, it's good. It's good. I haven't been outside yet, but it looks good. It's shining.
Yeah, good. Okay. Want to become famous? But we started an experiment to broadcast on what's that called? Twitch, I think it's called. No, we don't. Gilda's famous enough. Thank you very much. Okay. That's so weird, isn't it? Why do people do that? And why do people respond to that even? I guess I am doing that right now. Okay, let me see. Oh, Jeannie Young, here we go. Hi, Carl and Gilda. My wife and I are applying for a D7 visa. My son is 21 years old. He's going with us. Study in college in California. Which kind of visa do we need to apply for him? Okay, that's interesting, isn't it? So students can get a visa, but don't they need to be studying in Portugal, Gilda?
Well, actually, yes, they need to be studying in Portugal, but we have some other people in the same situation. So what we are advising is that they enroll in some Portuguese classes, but these classes need to be approved by a specific entity, so that CEF will accept that he's studying in Portugal. And also, we are going to try for the first time in a few weeks, because now people are studying remotely, and we are going to try to see if CEF accepts or not. I think they are going to accept. And also, it's important to show that the son is still economically dependent. So if he was on the tax returns in the United States or in some kind of insurance as a dependent, it's important to show that.
Okay. And I love how you're innovating there. I mean, have you done a lot of this? Have you taken and shaped the course of immigration to Portugal?
All the time. All the time.
That's superb, Gilda. I love that. In all the years you've been pushing the envelope and changing the line. Fantastic. So there you go, Jeannie. I hope that helps. Get your son, Portugal focused. Really, is he's going to be coming here. He's going to be a resident here. That's the idea. That's the spirit to get into. So taking the Portuguese classes online is going to be great, as I think that's what you're suggesting there, Gilda. Bom dia, Carl and Gilda. Gilda, do you know the reason for the delays in exchanging driver's licenses? Thank you so much, from Anita Sumares.
Yes, they are happening. I know it's because there are a few people. The work has increased a lot with so many foreigners coming to Portugal, but the people working remain the same. So they have not increased the manpower. So that's why it's taking so long.
Okay, there you go. And the thing to do then is just to make the necessary applications, show that you're doing your bit, right? Have the email paper trail and wait. Is there anything else anyone can do?
No, and then if they want to to insist a lot, sometimes it works.
Oh, okay, keep pushing it.
Sending keep pushing.
Keep pushing on there, Anita, but at the very least, do what you're meant to be doing and have the documentary evidence of that. Okay, James is asking a question. James will be back for part 2 of his journey on Thursday. For proof of insurance at my initial CEF appointment in January, how long does the term need to cover me? And I'm thinking that's the health insurance, isn't it? And there's 2 types.
Yes, it is the health insurance. I would advise at least 6 months.
Okay, that's of cover of health insurance, of travel insurance, effectively.
No. This one is when he's already in Portugal and he goes to the interview with CEF.
Of course, of course. Okay, so 6 months of that. Speak to Nuno of Insurance. With one option for you there, James. He's a thoroughly approachable bloke and can help you with that. Will extending my current 6 months D7 policy work, or do I need other private health insurance? I think he's answered his own question there, really, hasn't he?
Yes, he's. You're right. If you already have D7 health insurance, you just extend for another 6 months, and you'll be fine.
Okay, all right. We were talking about Mogusto and castanera, the roasted chestnuts. 15 years ago, for 2 or 3 years, a stall sold chestnuts in Belfast city centre. The vendor struggled to sell them. He sold 2 dry with a shake of salt in a bag, or vinegar ones in a small tub. Well, no wonder he struggled. Do you like the castaneras? Do you partake this time of year, Gilda?
Yes, I do.
I love them.
I like castanhas.
Oh, good. Castañas, sorry, not castañera. What's the difference between castañas and castañera?
Castanheiro is the tree that gives you the castanhas.
There we go. Okay, that's good. And that's part of me 15 minutes this morning. Fantastic. On the topic, Iris, on the topic of changing licenses, is it correct that there will be extra tests to take, if not by changed by the end of this year? This is for UK people. What's the deal there?
I don't think that this is correct for UK people.
What changes is if you want to keep some of your classifications, then you need extra tests, and there are age-related tests as well, aren't there? When you get to a certain age, you may.
Yes, but if you do everything on time, there isn't any tests. If there isn't for the Americans, why would you have for the UK citizens? No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem like something that it's going to happen.
But shout out to your vehicle expert. What's her name in the office?
Carla.
Speak to Carla. She puts the car in Carla, does Carla, at EI. So you can talk to her, Iris, if you want to get that sorted out. Alex Scott is here this morning. A couple of questions, not exactly related to visas, but quite an interesting question nonetheless, and something we should perhaps know about. What's the policy at the moment with masks? Where do you need to wear the mask, says Alex. And really, that's in places where you can't social distance. Would you agree, Gilda?
Yes, and indoors.
Yeah.
Everywhere
Okay. Well,
indoors.
in offices and so on, not at home.
Not at home. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So when you're mixing with others, get the mask on. Where you can't socially distance, basically, is what's being asked of you. And yeah, so at the forums yesterday, people and in the shops, people still wearing masks. Although some masks aren't requiring them, I have noticed as well. But it seems to be quite habitual in Portugal, anyway, isn't it? Where people are mixing close together and indoors, they tend to be still wearing masks. Is a driving exam hard in Portugal? I don't know how easy it is to answer that. It's all kind of subjective, isn't it? Can I drive automatic gears during the exam? Have you ever heard of that? Is there an automatic test for people who don't do the stick shift, Gilda?
I don't think there is. I don't think there is.
Okay, all right. So that's going to be a bit of a shocker to some Americans.
Yeah, I never came across this question before, but it's funny. But all the vehicles that I know and all the things that I can remember, it's not automatic because when they are teaching you how to drive, you need to know how to put
Come on. That's right.
yeah.
Drive properly with a stick, with the gears. Otherwise, it's just a bumper car, really, isn't it? Come on. But I can understand how hard that must be for some Americans trying to get their head around that after years of driving automatics. And the other thing to say, I think, about learning to drive in Portugal is that you have to do the lessons, and many of them, is it between 30 and 50, I think, both a theory and practice. It's not like you can just put in for a test, I think, if you think you're good enough and see how you get on. You've got to do the whole process of having the lessons formally, as I understand it. Does that ring a bell with you, Gilda?
Yes, it's true.
Okay, there you go.
But most likely, Alex, you won't need the test.
Why is that?
Because maybe he already has a driving license and he only needs to exchange it.
Yep, start there, Alex. Start there, Alex. Check to see if you can just exchange before you go into all the trouble of relearning. What's happened to the Portuguese national football team, Gilda? I forgot to mention this in the news. I didn't like to mention it. What is going on?
I don't know. It was so disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, everyone got together to see the match and it was just a disaster.
Yeah, he was upset, wasn't he,
I think
Cristiano?
it's the coach. Yeah, Cristiano was upset and so did we were upset. Yeah.
Because I mean, I shouldn't probably say this, but it could be, you know, the last or among the last World Cups for him, couldn't he? He's getting on a bit. You know, although he looks like he's 15 years of age all the time when he's playing, he's actually getting on a bit now. And he must think each time the World Cup tournament's coming up, it could be his last one.
Yes.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, that bit of a shocker last night. So they've got to go into the playoffs, as Francis is pointing out here. Okay. So Francis, this is what the I don't know if have you been to the Cape Town consulate? Why would you? But this is what it looks like, Gilda, as you walk in. This is quite it's interesting, isn't it? This is what a lot of people will see on those special days and appointments as they walk in. So there we are in Cape Town there, walking into the consulate. And yeah, I think I was a little late to reply last week. It was the Portuguese consulate in Cape Town, renewing my citizen card. Portugal lost the football yesterday and now got to play in the playoffs to qualify in the World Cup. So that's going to be next. Do we know when that's going to happen? Because that is going to be serious nail-biting stuff, isn't it? Just to make sure they scrape through in the playoffs. So you footy fans, let us know what's happening there. Sushu, 1404, keeping an eye on the time. We've only got until 9:30 this morning to get those visa update questions in. Big hello to Gilda and Carl. Very good morning. India, they are not accepting any application for D7 visa. Is there any way you can help us? Because we are almost ready with almost all the documents. What's going on in India, Gilda?
Oh, they are being very. Actually, we got one visa approved in India last week, which was great. I was very happy, and it was really funny because I talked with the client the day before, and I said, "Gosh, it's been such a long time, and this visa is not approved." And then I thought about it, and I gave some positive thoughts, and the next day the visa was approved.
Oh, super.
Hold
on a minute. You just gave it some positive thought.
No, I was like, it was very weird for me and for the client because we didn't speak for a long time, and then we spoke, and then I was like, this visa needs to be approved because it's been for a long time, and then on the next day the visa was approved. Well, it was a coincidence, of course, because the visa was approved when we were talking. But
no such thing as a coincidence. Come on, I think that was the thought power, and people will be calling you and emailing you. Gilda, could you just think about application for a moment? Move it on a bit.
No, it was awesome. Really, I was so happy and relieved.
Yes, so it can happen, but there's a blockage at the India end.
There is a blockage. So this one took a couple of months, I guess about 6 months to be approved. So they are accepting the D7 visas. You just need to insist. You need to push. You send the application to them and say, "Here is my application. It's ready." And then you need to wait for them wanting to receive your application. But don't give up. It's a lot of resilience you need to have with the Indian consulate.
Okay, so don't give up. Don't stop doing your end of it, Sushu, because you think you are anticipating a delay. Do all you need to do and keep pushing. Again, it's a bit like the driving license thing, isn't it? And it can happen. So there's some great news. I hope you heard there. Sushu 1404. Let's keep us updated on how that's going. For Gilda from Thunder this time, on another forum, I read the minimum requirement for money is 1 year of minimum wage plus 1 year of rent. Is this true? This is one we cover very often, isn't it? Also, is the minimum wage calculated as... that's a good question. Is it 12 or 14 months? So please address that for the newbies and for Thunder there, Gilda.
Sander, it is possible that for some consulates they are still making the calculations of 12 months, not 14 months. But I always like to be conservative, and I advise my clients to put 24 months because we already got some notifications with that, and we never know what's going inside the head of the person that is analyzing the process. So if you know that you are not going to be notified if you have 24 months of 24 months of Portuguese minimum wage, because that covers the first period of your resident permit. So this is my advice.
So you're playing it safe. Now, what's going on here, I think, is he's asking, is it 14? Because in Portugal, you get 14 months wages, don't you? But that's quite an anomaly and a rarity. I don't think CEF are expecting people from the rest of the world.
No, they are not.
Not looking at 28 months. So 24 is playing it safe. and you need the 24 months ideally of minimum wage. It's not 1 year of rent though, is it? On the rent side, they're just looking for at least 12 months rental agreement on the assumption that it will be paid, right? You haven't got to prove you've got the rent money, have you?
No, you have to prove that you have a rental agreement for 1 year. You don't need to prove that it's already paid 1 year of rent.
Yeah. So there you go, Thunder. Clarifying that. That's a good one as the absolute basics of what you need to know coming over. So thank you for helping us clarify that for people. Jim's saying in US yesterday, CBS Sunday Morning did a piece on Portugal's vaccination success. It's on YouTube. I saw that, and it was a great interview with the Vice Admiral, Gouvier Melon.
Really?
Yes,
I
he is a
didn't
superstar.
see.
No, I was sent that link. I can send it on to you as well if you wish. In fact, I might put it in the comments for everybody because Jeff very kindly sent that link to me. You may be interested in that. For a Q&A session with EI, do we need to face-to-face visit in Lisboa? No, you can do it by Skype, right?
Yes, by Skype, yeah.
Okay, so there you go, Michael. Do you do in person though, for those people who don't have a computer? Maybe I'm not saying Michael doesn't have a computer, but some people do prefer face-to-face.
Sometimes if they are in Portugal, we can do a face-to-face, yeah.
Okay.
When they come to Lisbon, it's possible.
Of course.
You just make an appointment and we make a session. And if they don't have a computer, sometimes we make with the telephone.
Wow, that's old school. Oh, on the telephone, amazing. Okay, and face to face, a lunch reservation might help as well. Chili Pepper S, hello Gilda. I would like to know your opinion on whether the CEF will take new appointments for family reunification in December. Yeah, a good update on that would be great. My husband is from the EU. I'm not, says Chili Pepper S, and thank you.
I would love to think that they would take new appointments in December. But my guess, but this is only my guess, okay? I don't have any privileged information. Is that they are going to do it only in January because they are now changing the law and moving some of the responsibility of CEF to Registro e Notariado, which is the department that takes care of the citizenships.
Oh yes, of course. Okay, so fingers crossed. It can't be more helpful than that. You have an inkling, but nothing firm on that. Okay, thank you, Gilda, and thank you for the question. Chili Pepper S, great name. Good luck, Bosot, with all of that. Gary Orgles, bon dia. You guys helped me so much. Thanks. I've now recovered from man flu and got my voice back. Well, glad to hear you've manned up a little bit there, Gary. Only kidding. I'm glad to hear you're feeling well again. Gemini's here as well. Hi, Gilda. Good morning to you. Just to let you know, I've heard from Seth about my renewal of my visa. Fantastic. Hopefully that's all good news there. Sushi coming back to us. Can you please kindly help me with that? So I think we've answered that. I think I am ready to apply and have an appointment with Christina on the 30th. So yes, you'll be able to get your ducks in a row. Thunder Duck will like that on the 30th there, Sushi. So keep on keeping on. And good luck with that. From Capricorn 12, hola bon dia to you, Chris. And thank you for yours to us. Gilda, what sort of questions are asked by Seth? That's a great question. We've not done that before, have we? Are asked by Seth or their replacement when applying to convert your residency to citizenship? Excellent question. So that great time when you go for that after the 5 years and you want to become a citizen of Portugal, what sort of things are they likely to ask you as well as testing your language abilities?
They don't ask you questions. They only receive the paperwork and analyze it. Okay, and on the paperwork you need to submit the results of the test that you have to do in a specific place.
Wow.
So yeah, they won't ask you anything. They will just analyze the paperwork.
I think Chris was expecting to be able to go in full, like dressed up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's so it's so cold
Yes, he wants to get his
and
three-piece suit on and his monocle and his pipe and go in and and say, I'm here to become Portuguese, and go through a little test and shake somebody's hand.
they will say, "Give me the file. Let me
That's
check.
it. And that's
That's some documents missing. Come back another day, and then you."
no. We'll have, we'll have to have our own parties, won't we? Because we did talk about like an expat ritual. So we'll have to step into that space, I think, and have a special ritual or a party to celebrate people becoming both sides of it, whether they've become residents or citizens. There must be a party and a rite of passage ritual for doing that, like and obviously some food based around bacalhau on that day. Hi, Gilda and Carl. In which way is it easier for Dutch people to get the necessary visa to be able to live in Portugal? Good morning to you, Josephine Logerman. Well, you don't really need as much as anyone else if you're already part of the EU, which I suspect you are as a Dutch person. But what she goes on, Antonio, quick on that. Thanks, Antonio. What you do need some stuff though, don't you? I mean, you do need to prove who you are, and you need to show up at a local camera to say you.
Yes. What does Josephine need? She needs to have a visa. She needs to have a NIF. Sorry, she needs to have a Portuguese NIF. She needs to have a Portuguese bank account,
Yeah.
and she needs to have a Portuguese address. And she needs to show at the city hall of the address that she has and registered as an European citizen living in Portugal.
Okay, there you go, Josephine. Let us know how that goes. And thank you for joining us this morning. Good day, Gilda and Carl from David. Oh, David, just wondering what the average length of time is for approval for D7 visa once consultant has processed and submitted application to immigration, roughly speaking.
The average will be around 2 months.
Okay, average 2 months, 8 weeks, not bad. Bon dia, Gilda and Carl. We are loving Porto, says Michael Youngblood there. Glad to hear it.
Great.
Okay, and let's see any more before you have to go. A couple more minutes, and glad to see that Tyrone Brunson, the Smurf, is our feijo de dia, not to be confused with the feijoada de dia. There, thank you very much. That is a tune and a half. Thank you very much for that. How can you have two driving licenses, UK and Portuguese? You can't, can you? You've got to
No.
trade one for another.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. I think we may be. Oh no, Sarah Exton's here with another quick question for you. Bon dia, Colin Gilda. Question for Gilda. Now the minimum wage is increased. Yes, there we go. Do we need good news for the Portuguese? Perhaps not so good news for people coming in with visas. So yes, what do you think? What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's good news, but remember that the budget it's not still approved, so it's expected that it's going to increase, but it's not in place yet. Okay.
Okay. So using your other theory, though, that you came up with earlier on, to be better safe than sorry and to have more rather than less, that's going to be a good look, isn't it? If you anticipate the rise, if you can afford
Yes.
to, and put that and then say, look, I understand it's 700, 750 now. So we've got that. We've got 2 years worth. And it's half as much, isn't it, for the second person?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There you go, Sarah. I hope that helps you.
Yeah.
One more minute to go. Maybe one little wafer thin question to put in. You're moving to Madeira, and we've got the sunset in Madeira to go out with. As we wish you a good day. If you have a passive income pension that is above the minimum wage requirements, do you also need to have a 16K in a bank account for the D7 visa?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And don't forget the picture from the Polish couple, from the
Oh,
gift that they so kindly give you to me.
yes. Okay, I'll find that while you answer one more question from Aya. Hi, Gilda. I already had my interview at CEF for family reunification. That was 2 months ago. All I have is CEF paper. How long can I stay here? And is there a way of following it up? I'm just going to find that cockerel now.
Yes, you need to call SEF, and with the number that is on the paper, you need to ask because 2 months ago it's a lot, and
Okay.
you can stay until the end of the year, and that's why my guess is that they are going to open for new appointments on the January because they have extended all the stays until the 31st of December.
There you go. All right, Aya, that's for you. And going back to moving to Madeira, we were reminded that it's not long since you were there, and a fitting sunset in Madeira for you there.
Sunrise.
It's sunrise. I beg your pardon. All right. Okay. It's beautiful anyway. I often get them mixed up. Is there something an astronomer can tell me to make it really obvious which it is? Perhaps not. And also, yes, as you requested, from the Pollies, this lovely
Yes.
cockerel. So there's a that's a take on the Barcelo cockerel rooster, really, isn't it? To go in the office there from the Pollies, who are delighted with the service they receive from you and have got their British D7 residency, right?
Yes.
Super.
And they already have the resident permit. Everything was so fast.
Excellent.
The resident permit already has arrived.
Superb stuff for the Pollies there. Excellent. Glad to hear that's working well for the Brits who are now in that condition. Just another quick look at my favorite lamppost. Do you have a favorite lamppost? You do now. Okay, Gilda, thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you next Monday.
Thank you.
Lots of love to all the team. Take care. Bye for
Bye
now.
bye.
Oh, Mandela as well. Give him a little kiss from the whole from the gang here, from the community.
Okay.
All
You stay well, and I love this community.
Oh, bless
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good job. There she goes, Gilda, on a Monday with the visa update. That was superb, wasn't it? Only half an hour, but I think we packed a lot in there. This is what I forgot earlier on, right? This is the news from the Algarve. I want more of this from you, if you don't mind. Local news. It's one thing. Oh, my goodness. Excuse me. It's one thing to share local news. It's a difficult thing for me to share it if I have to read the whole poster in Portuguese. But look, I'll draw your attention to the fact that this is an Italian-themed Christmas do, I'm thinking, at 35 euros a head. The food's going to be good, isn't it? Whichever way you look at it. If it's going to be a mashup of Portuguese and Italian food, you can't go wrong, basically, can you? And I'm looking at that. It starts with an aperitif, and it starts with some Prosecco. This is looking like a great evening already. And you've got Pomodoro or Pomodorini cherry. Is that more booze there? Oh, no, we've got some prawns going on with some, is it with cherry liqueur or something like that? Oh, stop it, Laura, who sent this to me. So they're in Albufeira. I wonder if you could put a link, Laura. I think I have seen you in the comments this morning. Put a link to your community there that is putting this forward as a great way to celebrate Christmas this year with an Italian dinner. Sounds lovely. More local news, please. Keep sending those things to me. We will do the global news. We'll do the national news. But the really interesting stuff, I think, is what's happening on the ground. And as Philomena told us last week, Portuguese people aren't brilliant on the marketing. Even Portuguese people don't even know what's really going on sometimes with events. And they miss it. And she was saying, there's some work to do there. So let's be part of making that happen. And let's make sure we get the events up here on the Good Morning Portugal show. And we'll share that very good news with people. Okay. Whew. We can relax a bit now. We're here until 10 o'clock this morning. Did loads of people leave there with Gilda? I certainly hope not. And we'll come back to your comments. And actually, I'm going to play a little bit of video for you this morning. Our man in the north has been busy over the weekend. He loves this community as much as Gilda does. We've got another video to come from Dougie in the Algarve. But look at this. This is beautiful. Thank you, Vitor, for thinking about us. The Minho, a bit more for you. That's vast, isn't it? I know it's a little bit of a snippet there. And you say, well, I need to see this in Portugal. What is it? Senhora do Minho, up there in the north of Portugal. And when we get him back, which we will, let me just tell you what day of the week he's here with me. Let's have a look, see if we can decipher the rest of this week. Of course, James joins us again on Thursday, which is going to be wonderful. Part 2 of his journey. And Vitor is here on the 4th Thursday of the month. This coming Wednesday, of course, Owen will be here live cooking from the Austin Studios in Alviagra, everybody. The world famous Austin Studios, live cooking with Owen on Wednesday. And what else have I got for you this week? Some exciting. The coach is here. The coach is going to be with us on Friday, doing a bit of Growing Old Disgracefully to talk about progress we're making on the course. He's changed my life. He has. I'm looking like an Adonis here. An Adonis with a sore knee, it has to be said. It's not his fault, the sore knee. That was a pre-existing problem. But I certainly feel fitter and better off for the coaching and insight that's coming from Ian on the Grey Watch Growing Old Disgracefully program, and he'll be with us on Friday as well. So a lot of fun already planned for this week. Do join us. Not quite sure what's happening tomorrow yet. I think I might do the thing about. I was talking to my mate Mike yesterday, and I think there's a certain point, and we talked. Who did we talk to about this? I had a lovely conversation with somebody about the stages of being an expat. James mentioned infatuation, didn't he, when you first arrive here? And I'm still in 4 years later. I'm still in an infatuation phase. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But there are the ups and downs of the expat journey. One of them, I think, is missing things. As much as some people say, I don't watch TV, I don't have a TV, there comes a point where you have those moments of weakness, arguably, where you think, wouldn't mind watching a bit of telly from back home. And we have a company we work with at expatsportugal.com. Maybe it would be a good time to talk to them tomorrow on Consumer Tuesday about how you can get cable set up to reacquaint you with some of the TV that you're familiar with back home. You don't have to have it on all the time, do you? But it's an occasional treat. For some of us who love the BBC's output with all its, all the good and bad things you can say about the BBC, they do knock out the occasional good program and show, don't they? And wouldn't it be nice to be in tune with that, literally? How can that be done when you're an expat? How can you get cable and programs from the old place beamed through to your household? So perhaps we'll look at that on Consumer Tuesday tomorrow. We could perhaps revisit our consumer survey, best bank, best mobile, best bottle of wine here in Portugal. Let's go to your comments then. Let's just sit back for a moment and see what everybody's saying. Sounds like a bit of drama for Rebel Mama. Hola, Posse, she says, a scary night. It was a big fire across, this is local news, across the Rio Lima from us, but somehow put it out overnight without helicopters. Once again, Bombeiros are the bomb. Well said. They're amazing, aren't they, the Bombeiros? Absolutely incredible. Oh, and there's a few hellos this morning. So Coach Turner is here this morning. Let's wind back, shall we? Sim, tudo bem. Thank you very much for asking, Matty. And a nice Portuguese greeting from Eusebio. Have we got this day in Portuguese history? I suspect we have. Bom dia a todos os que se encontram no estrangeiro, mas os seus corações desejam ser Portugal. So he's hoping, I think that's wishing us well with our wishes to move to Portugal right there. Eusebio. Mike Campion's here. Oh, Bon dia Alegria, lockdown again, no surprise. What's going on there? Maastricht, right, in the Netherlands. Tell us more, if you will. And I think we're caught up on the early comments, haven't we? 30 minutes from Jim, which is fantastic. Yeah, and James here. Bon dia, Gumpus. Feliz Segunda to us all here. In addition to Philomena's wonderful lesson on Friday. Legendary stuff. And Banana Slug Man, you can see there, over there to the left. That was explained to some extent, wasn't it, last Thursday? I've managed an additional hour of study for the 3 days, plus claro, 10 minutos already today. Well done, James. You're making great progress. Is he the leader on the Memrise board there? I wonder. Okay, who else is in this morning? I am Munson in Portugal over there on Twitch. Is it worth it? We'll find out. We're doing that for a few days now. Gemini, good morning, everyone. I keep missing the morning show. YouTube has not been sending me notifications. All sorted out now. That's disgraceful. What were you thinking, YouTube, not telling Gemini we were on? But you can pretty much rely. We're here from 8:30 weekday mornings, Gemini as well. Hopefully, we're the sort of institution one day that you can set your clock by. Give or take a couple of minutes. Bon dia, todos. It's the start of the week and a good time to get out and walk. Get out and walk so you can grow old disgracefully. I'm reminded of a David Coleman comment. He opened his legs and showed his class. What a legend he was as a commentator, David Coleman. He even, I'm doing it myself now, he had a column, didn't he, called Coleman Balls, which were his funny... It's not easy. I'm in that business myself to some extent, aren't I? In the live environment, you do come out with some rubbish occasionally. God knows I do. Alegria. Thank you, Coach. Anyway, Coach Turner, good morning to you. Looking forward to the Hollywood movie, of course, Coach Turner, in which I would like a role, if you don't mind. Who plays you, Coach, in that? Apart from the Hoff, is one possibility, of course. Alegria, what a great word. And what a great feeling. Breathing it in as I think and say and feel it. Let's do that together now. James, thank you for that. Goodness only knows what state he's in now, an hour and 10 minutes later, breathing in alegria. Should we do it? Alegria. Ooh. Ooh, this morning. I'm feeling it too, James. Thank you very much. Lee McGrady, head gardener McGrady, will be with us. Yes, it does feel good, James. At 6:15 this evening with the gardening Q&A, of course. Good morning from a sunny morning in Lisbon. And Matty, shouting out to both Lee and Ian this morning. Jean's here as well. Great to be in contact with you, Jean, over these last few days, and glad to see things are lining up nicely. Bon dia, hola todos from Jean there. And Lonnie, thank you for your comment to Gilda. Great to hear that you're in Porto. Finally here, everybody. And we'll get Lonnie on the show at some point. Fascinating fella. Looking forward to seeing you soon, Lonnie, and talking to you soon. This day in Portuguese history, 1889. Some of you will remember. Last king of Portugal, Manuel II, was born. He came to power when his father, King Carlos I, Primero, and his elder brother, Luis. Would I like tea or coffee? The beautiful Mrs. M. It's one thing to breathe in an alegria, everybody. But it's one thing to look at my wife this morning across the studio desk. Yeah, she's giggling like a teenager as I stare into her eyes. Coffee, please. Okay. I'm giving her the come hither coffee look. Everybody, hold on a minute. We're talking about an assassination here for a moment. She assassinated me with love, everybody. But hold on. Let me just get seriously for a moment. Today in Portuguese history, 1889, last king of Portugal, Manuel II, was born. Manel, I think it's pronounced Manel more so than Manuel, isn't it? Manuel. He came to power when his father, King Carlos I, and his elder brother, Luis, were both assassinated on the 1st of February, 1908. Sorry that I was frivolous during sharing of that, Eusebio. That's a grisly thing, isn't it, that happened to those royals there. I know Dom Carlos, I think the second more so than the first, but that's a sorry end, isn't it? Ahassan Ula, good morning. You really look great and fresh. Well, thank you, Ahassan. Or were you talking to Gilda? I didn't ask her about the moustache. And you can tell a lot from Gilda's face, can't you? Was she sort of going, what is he doing? And maybe she didn't like to ask about the moustache, the bigoud. Okay. She may just email me later. Get rid of it, Carl. She's very frank, as you know. Michael Whitby, bon dia, from a cloudy Peniche, going back a little bit in the comments there. 52 degrees sounds warmer than 11 degrees. Yes, maybe we should do the weather in Fahrenheit because it'll make us feel better. Double it and add 30. Maybe the idea that every day is a holiday. Okay, we'll escalate to that, shall we, over time. And before long, we'll just be one long weekend, or at the very least, a fair day. Yes, indeed, fair. Want to become famous? Anybody who wants to become famous? Angelo X can help you. And you'll get viewers and followers on all organic here, my friend, Angelo X. We don't buy followers. We don't do anything. We don't spend money on being famous here. We grow moustaches and we still get followers. It's unbelievable. João Dias, real estate consultant in Portugal. What do you do for a living, João Dias? Bon dia to you, mate. Only kidding. How's it going? How's the business at the moment? I don't have a favorite lamppost. What? But my dogs have several. You will. Don't you worry. It will be in Gentleman's Quarterly soon. Your favorite lampposts from around the world. You mark my words. I've got some street art for you all. Be sure to tune in on Thursday, says James Holly. Dogs say that as well, don't they? Going between the conversation of dog owners. Dogs often do quite a lot of street art, don't they? Here in Portugal. It's a funny old thing. Gaffer tape fixes everything. Yes, we were there, weren't we? With the WD-40 and the cable ties as well. So, yes, that is the Portuguese toolkit, I think. There's a penknife in there as well, isn't there? So gaffer tape, penknife, cable tie, WD-40. Probably they use olive oil instead of WD-40, to be fair. Anything else that should be in that toolkit? Probably things that you've bought from the middle aisle of Lidl chucked in there somewhere. Some park life stuff going on. Is it Parkside Park Life? Morning to you, Jim. Yes, Martin. How is it going, Martin? Do want to know. Laura P. Good morning. All nice to wake up every day with sunshine in Albufeira. And it was Laura that sent in the news about the Christmas event. Italian flavored. It's going to be great, I'm sure. Thank you very much for that. So B was here. Suze was here as well. Francis telling us about the weather in Cape Town. Mo looking solid there, Cole. Well, thank you very much, Francis. How's yours? I've shown you mine. Now you show me yours. It's your turn. Okay, Michael, dissatisfied with the quality of nuts and Caldash over the weekend. And not a big fan of the car fare either. I think it was a bit disappointment we discovered on Saturday night. Great show. Really enjoyed your company on Saturday night. Thank you, everybody. Joao F is nursing a kitten, a little deserted kitten over there in Ericeira Way. Jim White, at Joao Ferreira, a friend in Paniche has a kitten rescue service called is that Elizabeth Kitten Rescue or Elizabeth Kitten Rescue if you need help? Good to know. That's really kind of you, Jim. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, what do we need to know when the game is going to happen, don't we? The playoffs, so that we can really get behind the national team. A World Cup without Portugal is unthinkable. I do not want to be in Portugal if the team are not in the World Cup. Come on, guys, let's do this. We can do this, Cristiano. Yes, do you think it would make a difference if he could hear me saying that? Well, just in case he's tuned in this morning. Cristiano, come on, mate. It's just a little blip. It's going to be fine. You're going to sail through the rest of the playoffs, and we are going to the World Cup. Take me with you. Okay, and reunification. I think we nailed all of these, didn't we? Bon dia from Pamela. How's life this morning in Alcabasa? Pam is an autumn leaf emoji for us there. Very thoughtful. Thank you very much for that. Antonio F, did I say good morning to you? Josephine was here this morning, as was Michael Youngblood. Fantastic. Excellent. I agree, says Francis. They played really well going back to the World Cup match where Serbia beat us 2-1. But it makes our first game against them a little more sour after that disallowed goal that would have won us that game. Ooh. Okay. Gene saying, just learn how to drive a stick shift, folks. It's fun and it's not hard, okay, once you get used to it. Like many things in life, right? And thank you for the Faija de Dia, the Faija de Jazz Funk. The Dia is Tyrone Brunson's The Smurf. Look it up on Spotify, folks, if you don't know it, and you'll be body popping your way through the day. Be careful, warm up first. If you've got any, what is it, faults, defects, or something else, lay them on your radio. Let the vibes flow through. Who was that, Capricorn 12? But yeah, be careful. Warm up first before any body popping or moonwalking is my special alert to this community. I'm not being funny. Just, you'll thank me later, perhaps. And Elra, look at this, getting all legal with us. Discreto lei, numero 37, blah, 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 24. Article 61 says if the driving exam is taken with automatic gear, then it must be reported at the driving license as a restriction. So there you go. You can do that. But why would you want to? Well, yeah, because it's what you're used to. But come to Portugal, learn to drive. Learn to really drive. So, because when you're up a hill in Portugal and you can manage on the clutch, you are truly a driver, my friend. Or in the Douro valleys, can you imagine? Drop a gear, take that bend. Come on, you want to. Thank you so much for all and your Christina's help. This is to you, Gilda. When you're watching on playback, we're on our way in the second week of December. Can't wait, Jim. We'll see you then. Fantastic. We do need a ritual and a welcome, don't we? We need a welcome party. We need a residency party, and we need a citizenship party. We're going to be busy and drunk all the time at this rate. Moving to Madeira, we spoke to you and to Aya as well. JH is here. If me and my partner, both UK citizens, have our baby born in Portugal, does that make a child a Portuguese citizen? It certainly does. As I understand it, we've got one of those. And a thanks coming in to Gilda from Josephine this morning. Sean Burris is here. Good morning from Missouri, a.k.a. Misery. Oh, dear, I'm sorry to hear that. For my children who will be over by the time of application to be considered as dependents on my D7 visa, can they be enrolled in college online? It sounds like it, Sean. Get in touch with EI. And I will give you the contact details for doing so inside the comments in just a moment. Here it is. It's a well-established part of my browsing history. There you go. For anyone who needs to get in touch with the team, it's in the comments now. Okay. While it's not legal in bunny ears, I can see a little hack or ruse coming up here, can't you? Someone once suggested getting a duplicate driver's license for your home country before exchanging licenses in PT. I cannot countenance such behavior, but interesting nonetheless. Laura P says it's an Italian dinner with music and lottery. What more could you want? Folks, really? Come on, that sounds like fun. If you're anywhere near Albufeira, what is the date of that? It is on Saturday, the 27th of November. No, not long now, 7:30. Dougie, are you still around for that? If you want an MC for the evening, I'm sure Dougie will do that for you. Great stuff. So an Italian dinner with music and lottery. Keep that local news coming in, if you will. Carl, in the in the 1970s, Levi's ad was when I wake up in the morning. That was David Dundas, wasn't it? I put my Levi's on. I put my Levi's jeans on. When I wait. What wasn't that Wrangler? Have you got your brands confused there? Or did Levi's do one just to blow the competition out of water? Well, when I wake up in the morning, I put GMP on. Are you comparing me to a pair of jeans, Chris? I put on Good Morning Portugal. Love the show. Cheers, mate. Really appreciate it. It was the David Dundas track when I wake up in the morning. And I think, wasn't it Wranglers or which was, look it up on YouTube. I get another YouTube tab open and that see what the Levi's, which jeans ad it was. But I get the point. Sorry to be a pedant about which brand it was. I'll take that, as we're as comfortable and friendly as your favorite pair of jeans. Let's go with that, shall we? And very appropriate. Carl, as Adonis was gored to death by a wild boar during it. Seriously? I must be reincarnated then. That was a complete, as Gilda said, and I don't think there are such things as coincidences, but doesn't that send a slight chill down your spine that I might have compared myself to Adonis? And there are two reasons to do that now. Hey, here he is, the man of the moment on Wednesday. It's going to be great fun, Owen, on Wednesday. Carl, BBC Play. Oh, you can't do that, can you? You have to go all sort of VPN and stuff, I think, don't you, to use iPlayer? Want to do it legally? I can't be on here recommending illegal stuff. Wave video from me. Oh, have you sent us a video? Fantastic. Superb. Thank you very much, Michael Whitby, for that. I'm getting a hi from somebody there, but no video. Was that you, Michael? Deagle smashed it last week. Top of the leaderboard. I'm not sure I can show that because it's got people on there who may not wish to be shown, but I can tell you, I can prove with my own eyes that he did smash it by a long way as well. So well done, Deagle, on Memrise. Okay, it's only fair. Here we go. There's nothing wrong with that, Francis. We're going to show his tash before we go today. That's fantastic. Oh, if you want to book on the Italian-themed lottery and dinner night, I have got an email address for you. Okay, that's good. Fantastic. Michael, I think you have actually shared a video. If you did it before and I missed it, send it to me again, if you will. I've got a hi from somebody. It could well be you, but no video. There's Laura P's email address for booking the Albufeira Italian dinner there. Kate's here as well. Last day of the National Horse Show yesterday was a lovely scene that wouldn't happen anywhere else I've been. So more fun than COP26 by the sound of it. Horses and people passing centimeters from one another, people buying cocktails on horseback. Oh, yes. If you missed it this year, get it in the diary for next year. Gone. Horse, St. Martin's Fair and Horse Fair, 450 years of history over there in Golgan to celebrate. So it sounds like you had a great time, Kate. Thanks for tuning in this morning. I wrote the link asking for information, but it's been cancelled. Okay, I've sorted that out for you now, Lyra P. No problem. We've bought a place to build a house in Setúbal. Headquarters 2 for the Urbanistas, hoping the infatuation stage is perpetual. It can be. Driving around yesterday, I like to stay off the toll roads. I like to discover more of Portugal, and it never ceases to deliver, Sarah. So 4 years in, I'm still there. Anyone who doubts the quality of the BBC productions should spend a month watching US TV drivel. No question about that. I think most people would acknowledge that. But there are some funny goings on at the BBC as well. On a personnel level, I think that we shouldn't shy away from. Get it sorted, BBC. Bon dia todos, great Magusta weekend, says Andy. Hey, Andy, funnily enough, Joe Brack from Aveiro, not far from where you are. I suspect very close to where you are. And Mrs. M saw the breastfeeding mural and said, hey, look at that. In Portugal, breastfeeding mural and guys on horses. I said, I've got a picture of that. My mate Andy sent it to me. So we saw that last night, mate. And when does that house in that part of the world put its Christmas decorations up? Because they are the most legendary I've seen in all of Portugal, right out in the middle of nowhere there. Portugal lessons start tonight. After 17 years, have we influenced you in some way? That's fantastic. Well done, Andy. He's taking Portuguese lessons after 17 years. You'll breeze it, mate. And join our Memrise group as well. Hey, look, video, YouTube royalty here, everybody. Expats everywhere here. Good morning, Carl. We had to come on to see the stash. Is it going on? Is the big old going around YouTube? Good morning to you both. How are you, Josh and Kaylee? Fantastic to have you dropping in. And yes, so you've seen mine. I'm going to show you Francis's now. Well done, Francis. Good effort, mate. And to anyone else who's doing this, Andy Gilchrist, who will be our guest talking about his journey to Portugal a week on Thursday. He blames his hairy Scottish genes, he said. But that's to be proud of there, Francis. Very nice. And every picture you'll see of Francis, we note here, there's a coffee machine in the background. And I had an amazing conversation about coffee. And you were mentioned yesterday, Francis. Mike's got an amazing coffee making array, our mate Mike. And, telling us about all the variables that go on in proper coffee making. Not a pod man, certainly not. He was weighing out his beans, he was yesterday, before making us a Maya Delight. Golgar is a very, very low key compared with Aachen or Wembley. This is in terms of horse shows, I would think. I didn't have you down as an equestrian person there, Kate. Not for or against particularly, but maybe it does fall into place in environmental love as well as horses there. No tickets, no programs. Lots of people there just to eat, drink, and party. That's Portugal for you, folks. Not too much formality, just a lot of fun and familiarity. That rhymes. That's one for the tourist board, isn't it? Great scene, though, and definitely going back next year. Superb. Lovely to hear that. Rebel Mama, interesting that history. Oh, yeah, and a framed print of the posters. The artwork for the Golgar festivals looks fantastic, too. Interesting that history. My great-grandparents were married in 1895, so that's fun to think about that. Wasn't that long ago? Yeah. A lot has happened to us humans in quite a short space of time, wouldn't you agree? Antonio F. Carl, King Don Manuel II, ruled between 1908 and October the 5th, 1910, the date of the Republican Revolution, when the monarchy ended and the Republic was instituted. Yes, of course, the assassination taking place in those bloody times as the Republic began here. And the old monarchy were got rid of here in Portugal. Very interesting. But still the historical residues, right? The Ajuda Palace comes to mind. Incredible. Swiss Army knife or Leatherman added to gaffer tape and WD-40. Well done, Matty. That's going to be... Is that in your... what are they called? Your helmet box at the back of the bike there. Antonio F., my grandmother was born in 1905. Fun to think about that time frame as that. It's not long ago, is it? It really isn't. JH, bon dia, if both myself and my partner have a child. Yes, we've answered that, haven't we? And I think the answer is an affirmative. Yes. Born here, Portuguese citizen. Bon dia from Drew in Australia. Good morning to you, mate. Great to have you. How's it going over there, for goodness sake? Iris, yes, parties galore. Yes. So party on arrival, party for residency, party for citizenship. Let's do it, everybody. JH, Elra answering you. If you aren't a resident of Portugal, the child will have the nationality of... What? Okay, we'll have to look into that. We'll have to get a proper answer on that, won't we? Thanks for the replies, everyone. So it's a bit contradictory, it would appear, but let's go with Elra, because she is the Portuguese person. I took my driver's test on a standard eons ago. Dad said we had to know how. Okay. Oh, a standard being a non-automatic. Driving standard again after decades, not, and loving it. Okay. So standard is non-automatic. I didn't know it. Carl, here I can hear my dad's voice. Don't ride the clutch. I can hear my dad saying that as well. It's cheaper to replace brakes than it is the clutch, he would say. William Ogilby, bon dia all. If Cristiano Ronaldo needs an extra pair of legs after the 14th of January to get Portugal through the World Cup, you have my permission to pass on my details to him, Carl. Send pics. He needs to see what he's buying, doesn't he, or what you're donating to him there, William. Let's send it. We're going to have a bit of a knobbly knees competition, can't we? Put the football boots on, send a pic. All electrics are automatic. Gearboxes will be a relic of the past. No. Knew somebody would say this in a decade and a half. Surprised that all the petrol heads are given global heating and just 2 days after COP26. Oh, come on, Kate. It doesn't have to be quite as polar as that, does it? James, Bill Withers woke up in the morning with a lovely day. I'm not going to hold that long note for you. It was bad enough on Friday, wasn't it? Elroy, I don't think if a baby was born in an ex-Alitalia flight, the newborn got Italian citizenship. Okay, but isn't it? It's airspace, not aircraft, isn't it? That says where you are if you were born on an aircraft. Carl, seriously, VPN for watching TV? At least in Finland, I'm able to watch Portuguese TV just by going to RTP. Okay, that's why we need an expert on it. Sorry. Thank you, Expat Portugal, for showing the link for those interested in Italian dinner. My pleasure. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name. I would love to. Hello, Carl and Gilda. What documents does Seth check for online? Come back next Monday. Join us next Monday for that, or just get straight in touch with EI in the link provided. Okay, we've got to go. Come on, it's Monday only. I think of Monday as a nice, brief show, and then we go on our way for the week. But obviously a lot of catching up to do, and I think I've still got a few picks to share with you, haven't I? Have I forgotten anything? Here we go. What are they going to do, or what are we going to do with all the batteries of those electric vehicles once they die? I'm sure Kate's got a good answer for that. Double driving license to get Portugal driving licenses. Hello, Deborah. You have to have a document from the DVLA stating that you renounce your UK license. A solemn moment. And then maybe if you present a UK license, it would show as invalid. I don't know the answer to that, but really, I think they just want you to have the Portuguese one. So maybe you need to stop messing about and sort it. Depends on the streaming service. I know that, for example, Netflix adjusts the content you can watch depending on your location. Absolutely. So VPN could help circumvent that. I know people do this. Everyone would be giving birth in Norway or something just to get access to whatever perks that. Well, they do, don't they? People do move strategically to improve the chances of their youngsters. Nothing new in that, right? It seems to me we need to work out this whole 2 cars in every garage transport. Yes. See, I agree with you, James. It's not about the cars. It's about our mindset and our consciousness with this. Yes, I think we agree there. Sorry, sent to email. Okay, we'll do that tomorrow then, Michael. Thank you for that. We'll share that tomorrow. Who else is sending stuff in? Andy via Austin. Here we go. More. I've got to share these because it's local news. Everybody, couple of events coming in. Superb. This will take you to the Pereira region as well, which is a great idea. And a man with a superb tash, a young Luis Pato. I didn't know he was famous for his tash. So you've just walked past Luis Pato. So thank you. Darling wife is back in the room. And with a lovely coffee, thank you very much. In my Good Morning Portugal mug, she knows how I like it. So a few to share there, and we'll go out with a Dougie video. Okay. And anything I missed today, you tell me, and we'll include it tomorrow. So last few comments, we'll do that local news from Andy. I put my blue jeans on. I put my all blue jeans on. No brand. No, Deagle, it was picked up by a jeans company. Believe me, I'm going to have to tell everyone tomorrow, aren't I, about this. I had no idea. What's this? Feels so much better now. Oh, okay. Not sure what that's about, but I'm glad you do. And in those cases, then the country where it was born will give citizenship. In those cases. What, is that on an airplane? I'm confused now. Called a top box. What's that? A moustache or the TV thing? Buffalo are native to the Great Plains, far less environmental impact than beef. Okay, all right. If you research in Portugal, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of teens that were born in Portugal, but because their parents were legal residents, they are in a limbo. Okay, that's something to pick up. We need to know about that, don't we? Bon dia from the Algarve. Dougie's work you will see soon as well. Talking to petrol heads, geared cars much more fun than automatic. They are, aren't they, Deborah? It's not. It doesn't make you a bad person because you like driving a car with gears. Honestly, Kate, don't have identity card, NIF, nothing. Who? What? Oh, these are the people, the limbo people. Carl, you've got me. I will have to look into this more. We both will. We will both be on that straight after the show this morning. Wow, Gloria binged it in 2 days. Okay, so there's a thumbs up from Capricorn 12 there. The Portuguese national team is not just CR7, Cristiano. CR7. Ruben Dias, Bernardo Silva, and João Cancelo of Manchester. Who? Carl, say hi to Mrs. M from Mrs. C, and I will do, mate. And look at this. Josh and Kaylee work in the room as well, which is great. Netflix is actively combating VPN access, making it increasingly more difficult. Yeah, because they don't make enough money, do they? They need to be careful with this stuff. I don't have 2 cars, but 3 motorcycles. Anyway, I can only drive one at a time. You seem to be saying there, at Expats Everywhere, I feel you. I'm working too hard, but seriously need to immerse myself in the language and get there. Come on, Josh, Kaylee, join our Memrise group. It'd be lovely to see you in there. And when are you going to be on the show again? It'd be fantastic to talk to you guys. You know, all you have to do now is press a button and you're on the screen with me. So let's do that again soon, shall we? Jeans on. Brutus jeans. I knew it. I knew it wasn't Levi's, and I was thinking, is it Wrangler? No, it's Brutus, which I think might have been a British brand. Thank you, Helen T, who occasionally chips in at a very important moment like this. Jeans on, song used were Brutus jeans in 1977, according to Google. Thank you very much, Helen. And Francis, already a member there. Expats everywhere we're talking about. Well, let's get you in there. We'll schedule it. We'll make it happen. Good news, everybody. Excellent news that Josh and Kaylee will be here. So those last couple of bits of news, and we'll go out with the Dougie video. Anything else I've forgotten? I'm so sorry. I really am. Remind me, and we'll put that right. So there's your first bit of news. The Caminha pela Natureza. That's a nature walk on the 21st, 21 Novembro, and Trilho dos Moinhos. And this is Águeda. So if you're going up there, it's worth making the trip to Águeda because you can see that beautiful town, famous for its umbrellas. And looks like you can go for a beautiful nature walk as well. Andy, you legend. Thank you for these. Really, really important that we share these sorts of things. 27 November, 4 o'clock at the Junta de Freguesia de Aguim. There is going to be a caminhada, castanhada to San Martino. So San Martino festivities continue. And you can go to the lovely Jimmy Choo. My dog is from Aguim. And you can go to his birthplace, which is celebrated just as much as the San Martino festival is. 4 o'clock, that's going to be beautiful in a little Portuguese town, Aguim, and you can even catch a train there. So here's the thing. You can get go to Coimbra, change at Coimbra for the line that goes up to Aveiro, come out at Aguim, and you can go to that lovely session there of chestnut munching and wine sipping on the 27th of November from 4 o'clock. Thank you so much. And this is, I think it's been sorted out. Andy is here. He is stood outside the home of a local celebrity, or a national celebrity, and a wine industry celebrity. So this is Andy. No, it's not. This is Andy outside the house of Luis Pato, I would think. I don't know if it's currently in use or it's a family home or whatever. It's a bit overgrown there, but he's out for a walk. You're a handsome devil, Andy. You really are. Are you growing a tash? Will you join us for Movember? But look, there he is outside that house by the look of it. Back in the day, Luis Pato, that is the tash I want. That tash presumably is some sort of wine tasting filter as well that he's grown there. Lovely head of hair, great big tash, looking like 70s, 80s possibly there. He joined us on the wine club one night. Luis Pato, what a guy. There you go. Garvo, are you watching? Let's all do that, shall we? Let's all grow tashes, bigods, in honor of Luis Pato, the living wine legend of the Bairrada region. Check him out. Check out Pato Wines, please. Loads more comments have come in. I'm not sure I can do them all. I'm going to put them up over Dougie's video, which we're going to play for you now. Been a great session. 8 minutes past 10. Come on, what are you thinking? Let's go out and enjoy this second weekend of the week. You've got tomorrow and Tuesday off by decree of the Good Morning Portugal show. Gilda said it was fine, didn't she? And I have for you now a Dougie video. More of these to come. Enjoy this, and we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.
The rural idyll is alive and well right here on the Algarve. I'm going to swing the camera around. And as you can see, that's my car. And right here is what you might describe as a pretty sheer drop. I don't think the camera actually adequately demonstrate what a sheer drop that is. But you can see the road curling off there. So one sort of wrong move and the beautiful Algarve could easily claim you for its own. Let's put it that way. The perfect spot if you want to start a bit of Algarvian cider making. The whole sprawling countryside at your disposal. The taxman would be happy here because that's windfall. Literally, just the sound of the birds singing. And here at last, we've got some orange trees. Beautiful fresh oranges growing on the tree. And there's I've passed millions of them. Literally, I mean, they've got huge plantations, especially down near Silvage. Incredible, really. I don't know if it's fair to say that the Algarve isn't really that famous for its wine. All the wine stuff is sort of concentrated in places like Alentejo and Douro and other regions of Portugal. But you do see an awful lot of oranges being sold at the roadside here for those who may not be familiar with this part of the country. But it's always a mistake. I mean, we all think of oranges and things as handy, you know, for a bit of roughage. Well, you can make a big mistake, because if you eat too many of these guys, basically roughage will be the least of your problems. Maybe you can juice them all and basically make some sort of Aphrodite bath of orange juice and come out with a Trumpian orange hue. But if you eat them, they'll be trumps of another type, I can guarantee it. But there you go, the oranges of the Algarve. Beautiful, how is that? Eh? Marvellous.